Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another mock draft video. Today we're doing a 12-team PPR mock draft on Sleeper with FantasyCouch. He's at the 7th spot, and it's during his live stream, but we ain't live streaming, we just in the draft. So, we're at the 11th pick, and it's on Sleeper. Normally he does it on Yahoo and all these other ones, but I wanted to get into the Sleeper one. So, before I start the video, I want to ask you guys to please click the subscribe button down below, click the like button, and leave a comment on what kind of draft you want to see. Superflex draft most likely coming soon. So the first pick of the draft was run CMC Christian McCaffrey. The second overall pick was Saquon Barkley, followed by Ezekiel Elliott. Now these are 12 people who like fantasy, obviously, because they follow a fantasy channel. And it is the 23rd of July when I'm recording this. Just so you know, may come out. It's probably gonna come out like 2 days later than that. After Zeke was picked, Alvin Kamara came off the board, followed by DeAndre Hopkins. Now, typically here at the 6th spot, the 5-6 spot, that's where I'm going DJ, David Johnson. But some people do go wide receiver. It is a full PPR, so that's obviously a viable strategy. DJ has came off the board right now. Now, Hussein the Brain, aka Fantasy Couch on YouTube, is up. So, let's see what he goes with here. Now, in a 12-team PPR draft at the 11th pick, we're typically looking at a guy like Joe Mixon, a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster, going to be there at the 11th. Maybe even a better receiver than Juju, in my opinion, may be there. Maybe even a guy like Tyreek Hill I may go for if I see the value there. So, the time is expiring at a quite rapido pace at the current moment because he is not picking, but he did pick Davante Adams there. Pretty typical to see DeAndre Hopkins and Davante Adams go within like the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 range. That's where they're all going to go. So after Davante Adams, Michael Thomas was picked. Personally, I would rather go Julio there over a guy like Michael Thomas, but what do I know? I just talk about fantasy on the internet every goddamn day. So after Michael Thomas went, Melvin Gordon went. Quite the pick, considering the guy is holding out. So now we just got one pick to go before ours. And let's see who it is. Currently, we're probably going to be going Joe Mixon here. Unless he gets sniped from us, or if Julio's there. Because if we can get Julio, Joe Mixon, that's quite nasty of a start to my fantasy football draft. Who will he pick? Who knows? Is he paying attention? Who knows? My computer sounding very loud. Oh, he snipes Joe Mixon, so we'll just go Julio here. Make it easy. I picked the third best wide receiver on the board here. So, we're going to look at running back here. Hopefully, James Conner falls to us. If this guy goes Le'Veon Bell, James Conner, that is hilarious. Oh my gosh, he does. So, Todd Gurley is the best running back available according to them. We don't want Todd Gurley or Dalvin Cook, so we're going to go with my favorite running back on the board, and that is Damian Williams. And I like Damian Williams slightly more than Nick Chubb. Now, I wouldn't hate you if you went Chubb. Tell me in the comments who you would have went. Would you have went Damian Williams? Would you have went Nick Chubb? It's up in the air. Both guys could potentially be top 10 fantasy football running backs when the season comes to a close. So after we went D-Will, Odell Beckham Jr. came off the board, followed by Travis Kelce. So the first tight end, Travis Kelce, came off the board in the second round, which is pretty typical. Normally, you're going to see him going at the end of the first round or the beginning of the second round, due to the fact that he is a elite tight end who's going to be scoring a shit ton of fantasy points. Now, his two friends, the big three tight ends, aka Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz, and George Kittle, are going to be flying off the board. Typically in the second, third, and fourth round, by the fourth round, all three are typically gone. So after we went Travis Kelce, Juju was picked, followed by Tyreek Hill, Todd Gurley. This guy has a deadly combo of Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill. Now his receivers or his running backs may end up lacking, but that is quite the start to a draft. That guy also at 1.5 at the 5th pick with DeAndre Hopkins and Antonio Brown stack. That is a great wide receiver stack. In my opinion, I personally don't like doing that because I like to escape the first 3 rounds with 2 running backs typically. but I don't necessarily hate that strategy. After AB went, Nick Chubb was selected. So, now it's going to be a while before we pick again. And after Nick Chubb, Leonard Fournette went. Leonard Fournette's a guy that I'm strictly avoiding due to his injuries in the past, the fact that he's just never stays healthy. Or he doesn't go to team pictures. He gets suspended. Shit like that. You don't want that. So after Leonard Fournette went, Mike Evans went, followed by Dalvin Cook, who we are also avoiding Dalvin Cook due to injury risk, and then T.Y. Hilton. Now, everyone in the NFL obviously has injury risk. Anyone could wake up and just fucking step out of bed and fall down the stairs, or get up, tear their ACL somehow. That could happen to anyone. But when you draft someone who is not as injury prone, obviously you're more likely for that not to happen. So after Dalvin Cook was selected, the same person selected T.Y. Hilton. The next pick was Derrick Henry, followed by Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper. This guy has two receivers, so he's likely going running back or tight end here. Now, I know for a fact that Brain will end up going with George Kittle if he falls to him, most likely now. In my opinion, it's kind of easy to read people if you know their strategies. Now, you guys, if we were to do a draft, you guys would know my strategy. You could read what I'm going to do. If you've been playing with people for years, you know their kind of strategy. Some people are receiver guys. Some people like running backs early. You'll just figure that shit out as the years go by. You know that this guy's the idiot who will pick a quarterback early. Stuff like that. So this is more of a telling mock draft for how a real draft may go if you're playing with a bunch of smart fantasy football players. So after Amari Cooper went, Josh Jacobs went, followed by Adam Thielen, Marlon Mack, and now we are just 1, 2, 3, 4 picks away from making our selection, our third selection of the draft. So now, this guy is picking. I don't know what he is thinking, and I absolutely lied to you guys because he did not pick George Kittle in the third like I thought he was going to. So, he just absolutely did the opposite of what I was thinking. So, after Marlon Mack went, Aaron Jones went, followed by Stefon Diggs. Pretty typical. Everyone's picking pretty typical here. And then we are going to be going running back here. Hopefully my main man, Kerryon Johnson, falls to us. My boy. Oh, George Kittle went, so we are going to be able to get Kerryon Johnson here. Now, I like Kerryon Johnson more than Devontae Freeman due to injury reasons. David Montgomery, I'm obviously not opposed to picking, but he's a guy who I don't necessarily know if he can start the first couple of weeks, due to him being integrated into the Bears offense. But the Bears loved pounding the rock last year with Jordan Howard. Now, Jordan Howard showed that he's not the guy. They gave him the fucking boot. They sent him all the way to some other team, which I can't remember right now. Which team is Jordan Howard on? We'll check right now. Jordan Howard is on Philly. They gave him the goddamn boot. So now it's our pick. And we've got Julio, Damian Williams, Kerryon Johnson. Now, right here, I would not necessarily be opposed to going Devontae Freeman here due to the fact that he is a great running back with injury proneness, and he comes with risk, just like David Montgomery. But I do think that David Montgomery will, at the end of the season, have a better season, so that's why I'm going to go with David Montgomery here. So after we selected David Montgomery, we now have to wait. So after we picked Kerryon, AJ Green went, followed by Pat Mahomes, and then we went David Johnson. Patrick Mahomes is the first quarterback off the board in the fourth round, which is pretty typical. Going in the fourth round, typically he'll go in the first 4 rounds in these mocks. Now, the thing is, in your at-home draft, he may go even earlier due to the fact that people view some guy who threw 50 touchdowns last year. Obviously, the quarterback won by a mile. He scored so many more points than the second best guy, Matt Ryan, I believe, in most formats, that he just seemed so good that people think that he's going to repeat. He'll throw 50 touchdowns again. I don't think he'll throw 50 touchdowns this season, but I do think he'll be good, but I don't know if it'll happen. All right, so after after we selected David Montgomery, Patrick Mahomes came off the board. Ooh, my God. After we picked David Montgomery, Brandon Cooks came off the board, followed by Devontae Freeman. And now we are waiting to go all the way back around on the rodeo now. I like picking at the end or the beginning of the draft because you get those double picks. Then you can kind of take a break and think in your head, what do I want to do with the next pick? You look ahead. You can scroll down a bit. Like even on here, it shows you around where, same with on Yahoo, it shows around where the picks will be when you are drafting next. So you can scroll down, give give yourself a bit of time to think. Now, when you're like the sixth spot, right in the middle, you're going six, and then immediately the next round, soon enough, you're going again. So you have to constantly be on the loop there. And even though I'm constantly paying attention, it is a lot easier to or it's a lot easier to plan out what you would like to do when you're going at the beginning or the complete edge of the draft. So after Devontae Freeman went, Zach Ertz came flying off the board. Now, like I said, the big three tight ends, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and Zach Ertz have been selected off the board, which is pretty typical in the first four rounds, like I stated. So after Zach Ertz went, Julian Edelman went. Now, some people will give you a big kerfuffle about how Julian Edelman's thumb is hurt, or one of his fingers is hurt. I know that for a fact. I don't remember which one. But he'll be hurt for a couple of weeks, then he'll come back week one. But what that does remind you of is that he is injury prone. He's a guy who does get injured a decent amount. While he is a PPR beast, he does have some injury risk. Now, I do think he'll probably end up playing 14 out of 16 of the fantasy games, or 13 out of 16 fantasy games, as long as he's there to bring me to the championship and play in the championship. I'm all good. If he misses some games in between, it's okay. But I do, when you draft a guy like Julian Edelman, you need to know the injury risk, just like other guys like Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, all injury risks. So after he went, Julian Edelman, Kenny Golladay was selected off the board. Well, we're coming back. We currently have three running backs, all on different buys, and a wide receiver. So we'd likely look towards the wide receiver position here. Now, when it's our pick, a guy like uh, Jarvis Landry, Mike Williams, Tyler Boyd, Dante Pettis may end up being our pick. Because guys that I like more, like Robert Woods, Calvin Ridley, may fly off the board before it's our pick now. I do like Calvin Ridley a lot, but since we have Julio Jones, I would strongly advise not going two receivers from the same team. It usually does not work out. So after, or on your fantasy team. So after we went, or after Kenny Golladay went, Mark Ingram went, followed by Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley, and Robert Woods. So a three quarterback train, or not a three, a four wide receiver train going. Hop on the run, When it starts running, and by that I mean when a bunch of some positions start going all in a row, don't panic. Just think who you actually want and pick that person. Don't panic that all the wide receivers are going to be gone because the run will eventually stop. The only time the run really goes for a while is quarterback. It's in super flex leagues where seven quarterbacks may go all in a row. Okay, so after Tyler Lockett went, James White was selected off the board, followed by O.J. Howard, Philip Lindsay, and we are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, Kenny Drake was selected. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks off of our fifth round selection. So hopefully a bunch of running backs go, so we can go receiver here, or hopefully some tight ends start going, or some quarterbacks, so that we can get the receiver that we want here. Hopefully Tyler Boyd is still here, so we can get Tyler Boyd. He is my favorite receiver on the board at the moment. I also do like Dante Pettis though. So Jarvis Landry was selected. Now there's 5 picks before we pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 picks, my bad. Hopefully we can get that receiver that we want. Now, right now, is there anything going on in the chat to read that you guys may be interested in? Absolutely nothing has occurred in the chat, so we're waiting. And in this league, there's only 5 bench spots, so drafting a backup quarterback or a backup tight end is harder, obviously, and stacking up our running backs is more important, in my opinion, because you have one less bench spot. Tyler Boyd was absolutely sniped from us after I said that I wanted to select Tyler Boyd, but it is A-okay because we will be fine. There are other receivers that we can select off the board that I love, so it's all good. I even don't mind going Mike Williams here and then hoping Dante Pettis falls to us because selecting Dante Pettis at this point seems a bit early, even though I do like him a lot. So, Cooper Kupp dealing with the injury now. He is coming back from the injury. He's cleared to go. He's off the PUP list allegedly, and should be good. But I don't know how true that is. How good he will be after dealing with the ACL injury late into his season last year. So there is 10 seconds left on the clock at the current moment. Will he make a pick? Will it auto draft? Who knows? He makes a pick. He selects Tevin Coleman, San Francisco running back. So now there's 1, 2, 3. Just 3 picks before we get to make our 5th round selection. So like I said, hopefully Mike Williams and Pettis are still there so I can get both of them. I also do like DJ Moore a lot to have a great season this year, a turnaround season now. He did have a pretty decent rookie year last year on the Panthers, but I think this year he's prized for that true breakout. Or prized, I don't even know if that's the correct word. But he can get that breakout season. So hopefully we can get a guy like Mike Williams here. Chris Carson was selected off the board. 2 more picks until it is our selection. So let's hope some tight ends come off the board. Mike Williams was picked. Oh, geez. If this guy picks fucking... Hopefully we can get DJ Moore, Dante Pettis here. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, baby, baby. Fa la 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 la. Hopefully that didn't just pick it up and copyright my YouTube video because I just sang so beautifully for you guys right there. So 30 seconds left on the clock here. The quarterbacks are still looking juicy because only one was selected. So we may end up being able to get the glorious Matt Ryan, Julio Jones stack later in the draft. We will wait to see. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. 10. He's going for a buzzer beater pick here. He is dribbling behind the 3-point line. He looks left. He looks right. He pulls back. He shoots. Bzzz, he fucking missed. Time's up. Is it my turn to pick now? Oh, I hate when this happens. Now we're just going to be sitting here watching because he missed the buzzer beater. So hopefully we can get our guy here. Now, I don't know what they're talking about in the chat because we were obviously not listening because I'm recording a video. But hopefully we can get our receiver that we want here in DJ Moore and then Dante Pettis in the later picks. So right now it is a certified shit show because the draft is not moving. That's the one thing about Sleeper is it does not auto pick you someone instantly if you are not if you're not there to make your pick, which is good. Obviously has its pros and its cons due to the fact that right now we are currently stuck on a mock draft because the time has ended. So we are going to I'm going to pull up his mock draft on my phone to figure out what the fuck is happening because it is quite confusing. How did I not get the pick? I got auto drafted Andrew Luck, I believe, because I did not get to make my pick. I will refresh. Okay, so I got auto drafted Andrew Luck, which is okay. I mean, I don't necessarily like it, but since the draft was messed up, it's fine with me. So Tariq Cohen went followed by Andrew Luck, Cooper Kupp, and oh god, I just coughed. I'm sorry. Cooper Kupp, and we're waiting for one more pick. So now that we got a solid quarterback here, we are perfectly fine to go receiver. We don't get to go double receiver like I wanted to, but it is fine. So hopefully Dante Pettis does come our way here in the 6th round, which is kind of early for Pettis, but you know, I see him being so good that it seems worth it here. So after we went after he went Cooper Kupp, he selected Sony Michel. After Dante Pettis, Miles Sanders came out the board. Now the running backs, we already have 3. We got 2 receivers. We got our quarterback, which we don't normally do, go quarterback early, but it did auto draft for us. So hopefully it is okay. So after Miles Sanders came out the board, DJ Moore's picked. Followed by DJ Moore, and now we're waiting. So hopefully we do end up getting a solid running back in the next round in the 7th round because I like loading up on running backs. And now that we have our quarterback, we won't have to worry about one later, and we won't have to worry about a backup because Andrew Luck is so elite that the only time I would be benching him is when he's on his bye. So you can just drop someone and add a new quarterback to your team. So after, no, we're still waiting. After Miles Sanders, DJ Moore is picked, and we're waiting for this guy's sixth overall pick, or not sixth overall, but his 6th round pick. So the running backs do get quite spry down here. After you don't go running back heavy at the beginning, it does get bad. And his time did go up, but he selected Deshaun Watson. So after Deshaun Watson, so now 3 quarterbacks went off the board. We picked one of them. Would I have picked Andrew Luck there if I was to pick quarterback? No, it probably would have been Aaron Rodgers, but it is okay. Because we will deal with what we got dealt because the thing fucking lagged. And it is a-okay. This draft still counts because you need to see what happens. When you're doing mocks, you need to test certain things. So if you go a quarterback in the 5th round, what does your team going to look like? If you pick a quarterback in the 2nd round, what's your team going to look like? If you pick a quarterback early, your team's not going to look as good. In the 5th round, it's fine. First 4 rounds, I would strictly stay away from it. So, Andrew Luck could end up being the number 2 quarterback in fantasy this year. I do not debate that. So after Deshaun Watson went, Jared Cook was selected as the 5th tight end off the board. Would I have done that necessarily in the 6th round? No, I probably would have waited till like the 7th or 8th to get a guy like Jared Cook. And I'd rather go a guy like Evan Ingram or Hunter Henry ahead of him, but I don't hate the pick because Drew Brees does love that tight end. Now, you might tell me, Nick, he was not throwing the tight end last year or the year before. Or pretty much ever, unless it was Jimmy Graham. Now, I'm not telling you Jared Cook is Jimmy Graham, but what I'm telling you is that Jared Cook is a solid tight end and not complete and utter ass like the other tight ends that he had. Well, not ass, but they were not as good as a guy like Jimmy Graham or even close. So after Jared Cook went, Evan Ingram went, followed by Hunter Henry. So a tight end run did occur. Will this guy crumble and select Eric Ebron here? I do not believe he will, because I would not touch Eric Ebron, but that is just my opinion. So we are looking towards the running back position on the comeback here. Hopefully, it is a good one. Hopefully, it's a guy like Rashad Penny, a guy like Latavius Murray, or a guy like Ronald Jones. Typically, in the 7th round, this is where I target these mid-round guys. And when you stack 3 running backs early, I'm fine having these middle guys now. When you do like a 0 running back strategy type deal, what you want to do is load up on a bunch of running backs that are not as safe and have potential to break out and be great running backs. But that is not the strategy in this video, and Rashad Penny was sniped from us after we talked about it. So after Rashad Penny was picked, Alshon Jeffrey came off the board. So hopefully my main man, Darrell Henderson, or Latavius Murray are available when it is our next pick. So after Alshon Jeffrey was picked, Aaron Rodgers was selected the 4th quarterback off the board. Now, typically at your at-home league, this shit is not going to happen. Patrick Mahomes is most likely not going to go in the 4th. Andrew Luck, not the 5th. They may go Andrew Luck and Pat Mahomes may end up going in the 3rd round together or in the 2nd round together because people view these these quarterbacks so highly. Now, my favorite tight end to pick late, Vance McDonald, has been selected off the board in the beginning of the 7th round, the 7-1. So Darrell Henderson went, followed by Ronald Jones. Now, hopefully my picks come back to me. Hopefully Latavius Murray falls right into my hands and I can get him. Otherwise, I am going to probably end up panicking and having to pick a guy, the combo of Eckler and Royce Freeman. After Baker Mayfield went off, or after Darrell Henderson went off the board, Rojo went off the board, followed by Baker Mayfield. So there's currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks off the board. Alright, until we get to go. So hopefully Latavius comes our way. Now we have 3 running backs and 2 receivers and a quarterback. Typically, normally right here we'd have like 4 running backs or 3 running backs, a tight end, and 2 receivers, and no quarterback. Typically, I don't go quarterback early, but like I said, this is kind of an experiment since it was auto-drafted. But it's not the worst type of draft we're having right now. So Sterling Shepard went, followed by Kyler Murray. Now, it's kind of early for Kyler Murray. I'd prefer to have a guy like Matt Ryan or Drew Brees who show me true safety over a guy like Kyler Murray who could have up in the air games, in my opinion, because he's a rookie. His first couple of games may be shaky so that he can get ready to be that true NFL quarterback. Could I be wrong? He could blow everyone out, and he could end up being quarterback one. That's obviously entirely possible. Any quarterback could end up being the quarterback one. Ryan Fitzpatrick may end up throwing 50 touchdowns this year on the Dolphins. Who fucking knows? It's all a crapshoot, but that probably won't happen, and I don't predict that to happen. So we have 3 picks until it is ours. And hopefully we are going to be getting those running backs that we wanted so dear to my heart. So we're in the 7th round, and we got a while to go until the draft ends. We are about halfway through. So after Royce Freeman went, Robbie Anderson went, followed by Latavius Murray. God damn. Please, Austin Eckler, fall to us, because otherwise this draft is as shot as Oh, I was gonna make a funny joke, but I forgot what his name was. God damn, you hate to see it. So it's our pick, and we're obviously gonna go Eckler here because we want that upside at running back, because Eckler may end up being the running back one on the team if Melvin Gordon does hold out for a couple of weeks. So we got Corey Davis after Austin Eckler was selected. So at the tight end position, Eric Ebron's available in Njoku, so we're just going to wait a bit and get a different tight end, because at the end of the day, we don't want Eric Ebron. Even though we have Andrew Luck, I don't like Eric Ebron at all. Let's see. This guy is going Corey Davis, and we are still waiting for his pick. Let's hope that maybe if Geis falls to us, I'm willing to go Geis. He fell to us. Now, I don't typically draft Geis. I don't necessarily love Geis due to his injury, but I do think that Geis could end up being a guy that ends up as the running back one on Washington. Obviously, he's injury prone, but he's probably the best pick on the board at this position at running back when I like to load up at the running back position. So after Corey Davis went, TJ Hawkinson was selected, followed by our Darius Geis and then Christian Kirk. So now we are going to look for receivers, because we have 3 bench spots left. So we're probably going to go with 2 tight ends, because we're going to be getting not as great of a tight end to start on our starting lineup, which is a-okay with me, unless we are able to get David Njoku in the 9th round, which probably won't happen. Someone will probably bite and pick him there if someone was willing to bite and pick Hawkinson that early. Now this team right here, this team is not very good. The team next to mine, I don't really like Le'Veon Bell. I don't like this team. Like, I like some of the players. I like Le'Veon Bell, James Conner. I don't like AJ Green. I don't like Cup. I don't like Michelle. I don't like Corey Davis. So I don't like picking Mahomes early. So after Christian Kirk went, Marvin Jones came off the board, followed by D.D. Westbrook, a receiver that I like to target later in the draft. So obviously, in my opinion, that is a good pick. This guy's team is pretty crazy. He's got Deshaun Watson at quarterback. His 2 receivers are Michael Thomas and Juju. His running backs are Aaron Jones and Chris Carson. That's a pretty great team there. Now, I'd go for running back depth, but obviously not doing that at the moment. Hopefully you did not hear that. I accidentally hit the microphone, and it may have created some static electricity all up on you, so I'm sorry if that occurred. So, after D.D. Westbrook was selected, we are still waiting for Hussein the Brand to make his pick. Hopefully my main man, MVS, falls to us here. Holy shit! Speak of the devil, MVS was selected. We may have to go for his teammate, Geronimo Allison. Now, I do like MVS more, but getting Geronimo Allison later, they were going to run 3 receiver sets, so they'll both be on the fucking field. So it's entirely possible that Geronimo Allison has some better games than MVS. While I think MVS will overall be better, that's still something you have to realize. So after MVS went, Jordan Howard was selected off the board. He's a guy I talked about earlier, how they absolutely skedaddled. He got absolutely kicked off of the Bears straight to Philly. And Philly has a running back by committee. They got like 4 different guys. Pretty confusing, just like their NFC East friends of the Washington Redskins. I personally do think Miles Sanders will end up emerging there. But when will that happen? I have no idea. So Russell Wilson was selected after Jordan Howard. So now we've got a while before it is our pick, and I am currently sweating profusely recording this video. David Njoku was sniped from us. We wanted David Njoku to fall back to us. I said it was likely not to happen, so I'm not surprised that that happened. So after David Njoku went, Jerick McKinnon was selected off the board. Hopefully, we can get a receiver that we want, a guy. Even though I think Will Fuller is injury prone, I would be willing to pick Will Fuller here due to the fact that I need a solid receiver to put into my flex position while I think David Montgomery will not play very well. This team right now is okay, I would say. Could be a lot better if we didn't pick Luck earlier, but like I said, it was an auto draft and it was an experiment. Obviously, I'd have probably a better, more running backs that I liked or one more receiver that I liked. So after Jerick McKinnon was picked, Allen Robinson came off the board. Currently, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of the 12 teams have their starting tight end. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 12 teams have the quarterback. 1. So, we are currently just waiting on the swing. We're waiting 10 picks until it is our selection. Hopefully, we do end up getting a receiver that we want. We need to hope for that to happen. So after, Will Fuller got picked. I don't know if I said that after Allen Robinson. Will Fuller was selected. That is the receiver I would be targeting. Now, Will Fuller is a guy who, like I stated, he's going to get injured. But when he's on the field, he's fucking disgusting. If he somehow managed to play 16 games, he'd probably end up as a top 12 receiver because of how well he plays on the Houston Texans. So after Will Fuller went, DK Metcalf was selected, followed by Jalen Samuels, Eric Ebron, N'Keal Harry. So now we play the fucking waiting game. We're waiting. Who will fall to us? N'Keal, which receiver will fall to us? Now the tight ends are not looking too great here. We are going to be looking for Mark Andrews here to hopefully fall our way. Baby, come my way, because I got something to say. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's what does occur here. All the tight ends that I liked earlier in the draft are all gone, sadly. Delaney Walker is a guy that I do kind of like, but he is obviously injury prone. But he could end up being a great tight end in fantasy this year. So after Eric Ebron selected, N'Keal Harry went, followed by Kiki Kuti. Kiki Kuti's a guy I like a lot, just like Will Fuller. Now, Kiki Kuti could end up becoming the 2 when Will Fuller goes down, obviously, and that will make it more easy for him to catch a bunch more passes because he'll be the second look on the team. So Kiki could end up having a great breakout year this year. So after Kiki went, old man Larry Fitz went. He's a guy that could end up having a solid year if he develops a connection with Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler Murray may just spread the ball around to every single person on the team, so he may not have a true wide receiver one in Larry Fitzgerald. He might like Kirk more, Christian Kirk, or Andy Isabella, who knows. But Larry Fitz is kind of a safe pick back here, probably a guy that will have a solid year, even though he's so old and should probably retire soon. I like his character, though. He's a great guy. After Larry Fitz was selected, Dante Foreman was selected in the 9th round by Hussein the Brain. We only have 1, 2, 3 picks before ours, so hopefully our wide receivers fall to us here. Now, Sammy Watkins has fallen all the way to the 9th round. Now, I don't love Sammy Watkins, but I do know that the second best wide receiver on Kansas City is going to come with some solid upside, so hopefully he falls to us here. It would be great. Otherwise, we're probably gonna end up going Geronimo Allison, which would make me a lot more sad to pick. So hopefully he does end up falling to us. LaShawn McCoy's pick, so we do end up getting Sammy Watkins here. Now, Sammy Watkins does like disappointing you. He's great at doing that, but he's also going to be the top look on Kansas City. And just like in the playoffs, he played pretty great. So I'd like to think that he'd play pretty great this year with Tyreek Hill being back. So after Sammy Watkins, we selected Sammy Watkins, Geronimo Allison came off the board, and now we must wait. The Bears defense was selected. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs. We've got 3 receivers, so we need to go one more receiver. We'll go with the 4-5, and we'll get a receiver that I like to break out this season, and that's Curtis Samuels. I think Curtis Samuels could have a breakout year and could explode on the Panthers offense. That should be pretty good as long as Cam Newton should be able to stay healthy. Will Greer's probably going to be an okay quarterback if Cam Newton was to go down, but we got to hope Cam Newton stays healthy and develops a connection with Curtis Samuel. Like Curtis Samuel had pretty decent games last year. After Curtis Samuel went, Golden Tate was selected, followed by Ito the Judge Smith. And we have to wait a while till it is our pick. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 picks left. We've got our tight end, our kicker, our defense. So we probably need to go 2 tight ends here. So if Austin Hooper falls to us, he may end up being the tight end pick. Otherwise, it may be a combo of Delaney Walker and Mark Andrews, or Mark Andrews and Noah Fant, or Mark Andrews and Chris Herndon, the 4th, I think. Hopefully this goes relatively fast because I am sweating my ass off yelling into a microphone right now. Hopefully you guys are having a great goddamn day watching this video. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying. So click the subscribe button right now if you've been enjoying this video, and click that notification bell to get notified for all the videos. And then while you're also there, just leave a nice comment down there about how much you love the video and how I'm so great. No, I'm just kidding. Leave a comment about that I suck or whatever. You can do whatever you want. It's a free country down there. I will let you can fucking comment whatever. Because I don't give a fuck what you say. And I will respond to you if you comment something. If you got a question, I'll answer. Some people have asked if I would do a subscriber league, and I would be interested in doing that if people show interest in the comments. So you'd have to leave comments about how you want to see a subscriber league. So after Ito Smith went, Carlos Hyde was selected, followed by Drew Brees. So now we must wait the long haul to pick our defense and our kicker and our 2 tight ends. The first defense selected off the board was the Bears defense, which is pretty typical. Now, the 10th round is actually kind of low for where they may go at your at-home draft. Now, typically, I wait on defense, and the Bears in the 10th round seems kind of stupid to me, but in your at-home league, someone may fill out the roster. So they may go quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions. And then the 8th round, they go Bears defense because of how good they were last year. Or they may think, oh, let me go the Bears defense after I have in like the 6th, 7th round. That's just what happens in some people's head if they're new to fantasy, if they don't know how fantasy works and how you can just stream a defense. So, which I will explain later. So after the Drew Brees was selected, AP came off the board, followed by Damian Harris, Alexander Madison. Dalvin Cook's handcuffed. Let's see if this guy does have Dalvin Cook. He does not. He just handcuffed another man's running back. After Alexander Madison came off the board, Anthony Miller was selected. Anthony Miller's a guy who had some good games last year. Could have a pretty good season this year, but I don't really trust any of the Chicago wideouts to have a pretty steady season. Like, I don't trust Allen Robinson, and for that reason, I don't trust Anthony Miller. Now, there obviously will have some great games in, like, a best ball format. Having him, he might have multiple 20-point games, but then he'll have games where he catches 2 balls, and you just can't have that on your team. Devin Singletary was selected, followed by Jared Goff. So hopefully this does indeed speed up like I stated. And we do end up getting our tight ends that we want. So let's see how many tight ends have been picked, because I don't remember. I kind of lost count. I thought it was 8, but it may be more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm the only one without a tight end. I waited the longest. Now, typically I do wait the longest on a tight end unless I pull the trigger early or I find value in a guy like Vance McDonald in the 9th round or Njoku in the 9th round or Hawkinson in like the 10th round. But after Goff went, Deshaun Jackson followed his way onto that lineup. So, we are going to be looking the way of a solid tight end. Like I've stated, after Sean Watson went, Cam Newton went. Now, Cam Newton, I do like drafting, but I am worried, obviously, about the shoulder injury, because if he can't stay healthy, then obviously that's not going to help you win your fantasy league. And in a 12-team draft, or a 14-team league, 12 or 14-team league, it's obviously harder to pick up a guy to play in Cam Newton's if Cam Newton was to get hurt. Now, this guy has Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton, so that fear should be completely gone from him, because he'll pretty much start Rodgers every single week unless he sees Cam Newton having that solid matchup. Now, I think it is a waste of a pick going a guy like Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton, because they're two pretty good quarterbacks to start in fantasy. Whereas you could have just went Aaron Rodgers and then waited till the 12th round and then picked a guy like with a higher upside that you could start on what's his name's on Aaron Rodgers' bye week, or if Aaron Rodgers was to go down, you'd have a guy like Jimmy, or not like Jimmy Garoppolo, because I think Jimmy Garoppolo could have an okay season, but I think he is not going to be. I think he's not going to be as good as everyone thinks he is. So a guy like Lamar Jackson, a guy like Famous Jameis, a guy like Dak Prescott, a guy like Lamar Miller, Josh Allen, all not Lamar Miller, Lamar Jackson, all still available on the board, and I would be happy picking those guys. So after Cam Newton went, Paris Campbell, the receiver out of Indy, was selected, followed by Traquan Smith, who could be prompted to have that breakout season this year on New Orleans. He could be the number 2 look, probably the number 3 look, because he's going to be, or number 4 look, because first, Breeze, he's going to drop back. He's going to look Kamara or Michael Thomas. So that's 1 and 2. The third look may be, okay, it went. So maybe the third look is probably going to either be Jared Cook or Traquan Smith. So after Traquan Smith went, Deion Lewis went, a guy who I do like. I see some value in that, because I don't understand why everyone likes fucking Derrick Henry so much. I don't really think he's the guy there. Kareem Hunt went, followed by Justin Jackson. Now, Justin Jackson may end up being better than Austin Eckler if Gordon holds out, but Eckler's good even if Gordon's in. He's going to be catching some passes. So, and Eckler's still solid if Gordon was to completely hold out and get dropped, or get traded, or just wait a couple weeks to come back. So Justin Jackson was picked, followed by Naheem Hines, and then Austin Hooper. So the one tight end we were looking for is gone. So Jameis Winston is gone. So now we will go with Delaney Walker here and match him up with Mark Andrews if he falls to us. Philip Rivers went, followed by whoever this guy picks again. So how does this guy have 2 quarterbacks? He does. A lot of people like drafting 2 quarterbacks. I personally don't, especially if I draft someone as highly as I drafted Andrew Lucky Charms. So we wait now. We waiting, and hopefully we can get Mark Andrews here for the high upside, and hoping that he has a great year this year with Lamar Jackson dumping the ball off to him, because as we know, Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball very, very well. He was working on a new throwing formation, and has been. Hopefully, he progresses with that and ends up being able to throw the ball better. And you might be saying, "Oh, Nick, I thought you made a video about how Lamar Jackson's gonna be a breakout fantasy quarterback. He's gonna be great in fantasy. He's a sleeper in fantasy." Yeah, he is, because he runs, not because he throws the ball. Running quarterbacks are cheat codes in fantasy, so we are gonna go Mark Andrews here. Do they have the same bye? That is something we should have checked, and they don't. 6 and 11, 2 different byes. That would have been quite, or 8 and 11. That would have been quite the predicament if we did not do that. So after Mark Andrews went, Jack Doyle was selected, followed by Big Ben Roethlisberger. Hopefully, we do end up getting the defense we want in the Cowboys, because of their solid first couple of weeks schedule. If we don't end up getting the Cowboys, we are just going to pick the best defense available on the screen, because the way you're going to pick a defense is by picking based upon their schedule the first couple of weeks, or the first week, and then streaming back and forth, in and out, up and down, all over your lineup. You're just dropping the defense like it's hot. Fuck them. You don't need them. And you just switch them. I'm fine with doing that with fucking kickers, too. Just fucking drop your kicker, add a new one. Who gives a fuck? They're kickers. So, or just completely remove your kicker from your league, like I plan to do. If we do a subscriber league, there will be no kicker. So after I picked Mark Andrews, Jack Doyle was selected, followed by Big Ben. I think I already said that. And then Dak Prescott went, followed by Justice Hill. And we only have 2 picks left. Typically, the bench is going to be a 6-man bench. That's most of the leagues I play in are 6-man benches. Because in my opinion, 5 is too small, 6 is fine, 7 is fine, and if you get above 7, that's pretty large of a bench. Even 7 is kind of large. 6 is the sweet spot where you should be. So, after Justice Hill went, 1 second, time's up. Hopefully, it just randoms LA Rams defense. So now we wait. Has anything been said in the chat that is interesting? Nope, and we started the draft an hour ago. So this video has been going for over an hour. Ain't that some shit? Actually, no, I doubt it's been a whole hour. I think it may have became some false news. I doubt I've been recording for an hour. It's probably been like 40 minutes. But still, that's kind of long. Hopefully, if you guys stayed the whole fucking video, leave a comment that says I made it here. Just say I made it here. Don't even say I made it to the end. Just say I made it here. And I'll remember that you did that, and I'll talk to you. I'll even follow you on fucking Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll talk to you all the time. If you leave a comment, I'll talk to you in the comment section. I talk to everyone because I enjoy talking to my subscribers because you guys always have something nice to say. Even you guys who will comment about how my voice is weird. No, no one normally says that. Now I'm gonna get comments about that. But some people will tell me that my pick was wrong, and I'm perfectly fine with you telling me my pick was wrong. It's fine because you have your own opinion, and I have my own opinion. And I like talking about that kind of shit. So, after the LA Rams defense was selected, Tom Brady was selected, followed by Jamal Williams, Kirk Cousins, Jags defense. So, the 12th round is coming to a close here as we wait for this man to make his pick. The worst part about being at the end of the draft is having the last round. Oh, actually, never mind. The worst part about being at the beginning of the draft, I would say, was having the last pick in the 14th round. That has to be the worst. Typically, it snakes back around to a 15th round, and in this kind of a thing, I would have the last pick, and I'd have to wait 12 years to pick my kicker, which is just the worst. Now, normally when you're picking like kickers and defenses, normally it just goes fast as fuck. Like the kicker will fly off the board, or defenses they just fly off the board at the end. Like people just pick instantly at the end. Same with at the beginning. The first 2 rounds of your draft should only take about 3 minutes because it takes about 5 seconds to figure out who you want to pick when you're at the beginning of the draft in the first couple of rounds, and then it becomes a shit show where some people don't know who some of the players are. But you do because you watch these videos. So after Kirk Cousins was selected, the Jags defense came off the board, followed by Chris Thompson, Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel, and Lamar Miller. Some people like Deebo Samuel. I'm not too high on him, but I think he could obviously have a pretty good year in San Fran. Obviously, Dante Pettis I like a lot, and they have Marquise Goodwin. So I don't necessarily know Deebo's role in the offense. So after Lamar Jackson was selected, Darwin Thompson came off the board, followed by Greg the Leg Zuerlein. So now we wait, and this guy is not in the draft, so we are probably going to have to wait all duration of time, which is probably going to take 30 more seconds. We're going to have to sit here for 30 seconds because this guy decided to leave the draft, which is no bueno. If you're mocking, don't leave. And also, if you guys are interested in doing like a mock with me, maybe if you made it all the way back here, maybe we can do that. Maybe I can do a mock draft on Sleeper with 10 of you or 12 of you or 8 of you, however many there are. Even if we do a 12-team draft and some of it's a computer, I'd be down to do that. If you guys wanted to do that, I'd set up a time on Twitter and you guys would all join. So follow me on Twitter. After Greg, or leave a comment actually about that if you'd be interested in that as well. So after Greg Zuerlein went, Justin Tucker the fucker was selected off the board. Now, Hussein the Brain is the reason why I'm so high on the Dallas Cowboys defense. So I would not be surprised if they got absolutely sniped here from him. That he talked about it in one of his videos and it got ingrained into my brain. And that's why I tell you guys these things. It's kind of a stolen opinion, but not really because, like I preach, you want to have the first 3 weeks, the first 2 weeks of your defense need to have a great matchup against an easy offense. So, we need to get a defense here. 13, 12. Robert Foster selected off the board. Now, Sleeper does allow you not to draft a kicker or a defense, I believe, because he did not do that. So I would advise if you're in your at-home league, if you're playing on Sleeper, not to draft a kicker or defense, or if it allows you not to draft a kicker or defense, don't draft a kicker or defense. But I'm pretty sure a lot of formats do end up forcing you to do that. So for that reason, we will select a defense and a kicker, and because I feel like I would cheat you out of a mock if I don't explain how to pick a defense and a kicker and shit like that. Now, maybe your league doesn't have a kicker, so I'm sorry that I draft a kicker, but I wish mine didn't have kickers because kickers are stupid, and I'm going to attempt to nerf them this year because I'm the commissioner of many leagues. So after Baltimore Ravens went, LA Chargers went. Only one more pick before we get to pick again, and the Cowboys fall to us. We do get the Dallas Cowboys defense. So now we wait. CJ Anderson comes off the board. So now we are going to select our kicker. Only 2 kickers have been selected. So hopefully we can get Bucker here. Or Lutz. Don't matter to me. I like Bucker more because I can hold him for 12 weeks. And not worrying about dropping him because he'll be a solid solid kicker every single week. Same with Lutz though. So now we wait for the drives to finish, but I can recap our team. Sorry for the squeaky chair while we wait. So our starting quarterback is Andrew Luck. Our 2 running backs are Damian Williams, followed by Kerryon Johnson. Our wide receivers are Julio Jones and Dante Pettis. Our tight end is Delaney Walker. Our flex is David Montgomery. Our kicker is Harrison Butker. And our defense is the Dallas Cowboys. Our bench is Austin Eckler, Darius Geis, Sammy Watkins, Curtis Samuels, and Mark Andrews. So after we selected Harrison Butker, Will Lutz came off the board, followed by Stefan Gostowski. And if you guys want to look at the whole draft as a whole, like if you want to look at the draft board, you can just pause and I'll scroll down here. So our first pick was Julio. We got Damian Williams, Kerryon Johnson, David Montgomery. Then we went Luck, then Pettis, Austin Eckler, Geis, Watkins, Curtis Samuel, Delaney Walker, Mark Andrews, Dallas Cowboys, Harrison Butker. Now, who was my favorite pick on my team? I think the pick that I got the most value from is Sammy Watkins, because Sammy Watkins typically goes in like the 7th round, and while he's injury prone, it may not be that good, but he did good last year in the playoffs in the last couple of weeks for Kansas City, and I think that he will end up having some pretty solid games this year, and maybe even a pretty solid season as a guy that you get to draft later in your draft. Now, normally he goes in like the 7th round or the 8th round, so we are kind of getting value there at the end of the 9th. So after Stephen Gostkowski was picked, Kai Fairbairn was picked, followed by Deshaun Hamilton. So like I said, he went with the drafting no defense and no kicker strategy, which is obviously a thing you can do. But in the end of the day, I want to draft a kicker and a defense to show you guys the thing. So after Deshaun Hamilton went, James Washington went. So we're currently Cleveland Browns. And then we need to just wait. Hopefully this doesn't take a whole 4 minutes. It does not. Andy Isabella's pick now. Andy Isabella. Let me talk about some of these guys. James Washington's a guy I'm not targeting at all because I don't think he's going to end up being the wide receiver 2 on Pittsburgh. I think it's going to end up being Dante Moncrief. I think you're just wasting a pick picking James Washington, who was not all that good last year. Andy Isabella's a rookie. He could be pretty good on Arizona. Who knows? He's a rookie. We haven't seen much of him yet. He could, obviously, with a 14th round pick, he could obviously be worth it if he ends up being something this year. He's a guy who's a decent flyer. After Andy Isabella went, Houston Texans defense was picked, followed by Giorgio Trevecchio. Now on Atlanta, after Atlanta's kicker Matt Bryant got cut for Giorgio Trevecchio. And then Marquise Goodwin, the fastest man on earth, went. So thank you guys all for watching the video. Click that subscribe button down below or the one that's on the screen. And there's no subscribe button on the screen. Actually, it's just Johnny Manziel throwing up the money sign. You click on that. You click subscribe. You click the notification bell. And then you're going to click one of these other 3 videos that's on the screen. And then just keep watching my videos. You are not going to regret it. And have a great goddamn day, you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow with yet another video. Goodbye, guys.